Hey, everybody, welcome to Midday Market Update for 2/22/22. Wow, think about that. In your lifetimes, we probably had 1/11/11, and they got 2/22/22. The next one is going to be 3. Oh, there's no 33 though, right? So when's the next time we're going to see this kind of updated date? Probably never in our lifetime. Right, Joey? I'm thinking no. Well, welcome, folks. Thank you for being here for Midday Market. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor. If you can hear me, by all means, please respond in the affirmative and let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm waiting for my Facebook to hit. Doesn't look like it started yet. Joey's still working on that. But I want to know that you guys can hear me. And you guys are either you can't hear me or you're super quiet on YouTube today. One of the two. There we go. All right. So I'm like, today is not Monday. Today, you shouldn't have the case of the Mondays. Today is Tuesday. Normally, we're on Monday, but the market was closed yesterday, so there was no need to do a midday market on the day where the market wasn't open. So we moved it to today, and I'm glad that you guys are here. You can hear me, and let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know where you're tuning in from. All right? Just want to know. John Del Campo says, I'm here. Everybody's here. Okay, you can hear me. I didn't want you guys to be like in the doldrums. From Israel, love Etan that you sign in from Israel. I got Shajar from Pakistan. Excellent. Calgary, Boston, Shreveport, Louisiana. I love me some Louisiana, baby. Woo, guaranteed I love me some Louisiana. Plymouth, Massachusetts, that's way up north. Belgium, Ward, welcome. I'm Rick James Fool. Really? You got to say fool. You can't say what he normally says, right? I got Wael from Kuwait. Anyone knows what's going on with orbital energy? Daniel, I haven't looked at that, so I don't know. I've got Oregon, Chicago, Gautier. That sounds very French, Kenneth. Gautier, Mississippi. I tell you, I love me some Mississippi and some Louisiana. I should be Cajun. I love me some good Cajun food. I do know all the Rick James songs because I'm a super freak. So I can't be saying that. I can't say that, can I? Let me say, I can't be saying that. All right, so what do we do here on Midday Market? We look at what's going on live in the market for that day. We analyze what's going on. We look at stocks making big news. We look at a lot of different things. You guys actually get some opportunities to find some good gems along the way. And I'm going to start to give some insight as to what's going on behind the scenes in the market to also either solidify what you think or maybe add some insight to what you think. Now, keep in mind, I am not a stock market wizard. I am not some kind of super analyst. I use the VectorVest system. I've been with VectorVest. Joey, guess what? Next month, it will be 18 years, man. I will have been with VectorVest for 18 years. That is a blessing in and of itself. Glenn, Russia moving in, Glenn. What now? Shorten stops? John, we're going to talk about that in a second because that is big news. That is big news on what's going on in the market. And yes, it's going to affect the market. Now, it's going to affect the market from more of an emotional standpoint than a fundamental standpoint. But because we are a global economy and everyone's got their hands in everybody else's pockets, things like this, where Russia is going into Ukraine, will affect their market as well as our markets. If you've been with us on our day trading room, the Jockey Club, and we look at the pre-market on all of the countries or all of the markets around the world, Russia's been getting hit. Their market has definitely been getting hit. Tesla is the stock we may look at today, Michael. We're going to look at a couple of stocks in that space. May not be Tesla itself, but if I've got time towards the end of the presentation, if I can look at your stocks, I will. But I've got a lot to cover today, so I'm going to start to get into the software. Joey, I'm going to take the mouse. Joey, by the way, is my producer. He's in the background. He's always doing great stuff in the background because he's awesome. He is super awesome. Ford is going to be a stock that we're going to look at today. Share the tweet. Okay, that was my. All right, let's get into the VectorVest software. So now we're going to look at the homepage. Biden lines up Russia to supply natural gas to the world. Collapse energy independence from you. Now we are. I don't know, Roger. I got some stuff to talk about with that in regards to what's going on. So when we look at the homepage in the VectorVest system, this is where all the magic begins. All right. So when I say that with Russia's moving in, as I've heard the word incursion on Ukraine, it affects the market adversely. Why? Because the markets don't like uncertainty. How is this going to all play out? Nobody knows for sure. And because it's uncertainty, the market's going to feel the effects more so to the downside than not. But let's keep in mind that this is just one of a few different things that are setting us up for a big decline in the market. One, we have this incursion going on. Two, inflation is still an issue. Three, to accommodate the inflation or fix it, the Fed is getting ready to raise interest rates. So I've got some good news from you in regards to midday market. For the month of March, because the interest rates are going to start rising, we're going to run midday market 2 days a week for Mondays and Wednesdays. If that is appealing to you, type a 1 in the room. If you don't give a flying flip, type a 2 in a room. All right, type of 2 in a room. Told me before, oil will benefit if it gets bad. And I'm still thinking that energy stocks are still a good way to be. Energy stocks are still a good, petroleum is rising, oil is rising. I still think that petroleum stocks are a good way, oh man, nobody typed a 2. Nobody, that's awesome. So we are putting it out. We're gonna try it out for the month of March. So if, we're gonna look at the numbers. If it is sustainable, we'll keep it going. If not, we may try something new for the month of April on Wednesday. So I'm putting that out there. We are going to do midday market on Mondays and Wednesdays, strictly right now for the month of March. And if you guys turn out and turn up, we might keep it going. All right, we may keep it going. So I put that out there. Not a 2, not 1, 2, Joey. That's awesome. You guys are amazing. That is awesome. All right. And in keeping with that, remember, interest rates, inflation. If any of you follow me on Twitter, if you ever want to follow me on Twitter, go to @GlennTompkins Jr. And I put out a lot of other information throughout the days. And one of the stories I put out was the Fed too late to the party in going after inflation. And now that's a real story. Number 2, the Fed may have to raise interest rates a little faster than they anticipated. So people are saying, well, they're going to raise it a quarter point. They're going to raise it a half a point. They actually, the more you look at this to accommodate what's going on in inflation, what if they raise it a whole point? Whew, that's going to be big. And you know something? They may be okay with going for a hard landing because they were looking to go softly by maybe saying, we're going to wait and we're going to wait and we're going to wait. They may have to go hot and heavy after inflation because it's so much. All right. So if you haven't followed me on Twitter, again, @Glenn Tompkins Jr. Check that out. I always, throughout the day, look at what's going on in the market because I can't always be here live on YouTube. So I put a lot of information out on Twitter just for you guys to keep your eyes open for. All right. So looking at the homepage, today is not a good day to be in the market. Looking at the last 6 trading days, a lot more reds popping up. The guidance says VectorVest does not advocate buying stocks at this time. All of the major indices are down today with NASDAQ leading the charge, down 1%. But if I look at the sectors, though, one sector is moving up. What sector have I said is going to be the beneficiary of rising interest rates? Bank. Now, it's not up a lot. But if I look at the top 5 sectors right now, bank is the only one that's up. Now it's still, I love being able to look at any day at any point in time in the day to see where the money is going in the fastest sectors in the software. All right, so we can see that steel is up, now it went back down, but banks are up. Watch, let's do this. Since it's one of the only ones that are up, I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to view the stocks in that business sector. And this is a good place right from the home page to start to look for stocks that are moving. Sigh. What has just happened to my software? Oh, yeah. It's not showing me. And I did the restart, Joey. Right-click. View the stocks in the business sector. Sigh. It's not coming up. Don't know why. Don't know much. As if I love you, let me be. Yes, I will sing every so often. I'm going to put the crickets. Somebody just followed me. Chris, thank you for following me on Twitter again. That's what I do. No way the Fed does anything more than a half a point. Charles, you know something? I think that inflation is a bigger thing than they thought. And, all I'm saying, all I'm saying, Charles, is something to keep our eyes on. I just put it out there. That's all. Something, if nothing, I lost that. Okay. Something, if nothing else, just keep your eye. You can move it to the right, Joey. You can move that to the right, unless you don't see that. Do you see that? I don't know if you don't. Hold on. Let me move this then. There we go. All right. So that's all. Again, it's with Kim, it's 2 N's and no H. At Glenn Tompkins Jr. At Glenn Tompkins Jr. All right. So keeping all that in mind, I hear you, Roger. Roger says no chance, not before the mid-years. Political control is paramount. I hear you on that. There's a lot of things going on, and you're right. The midterms are coming up. There's a lot going on. All I'm doing is planting the seeds, and we'll see which ones will grow. All right. So from the home page, I wish I could get to the banks. For some reason, I can't. Hold on, Joey. Let me take it. This is what you're looking for. At Glenn Tompkins Jr. I put it in the chat. That's what you're looking for on Twitter or Instagram. All right, so this is what's going on the homepage. In a second, I am going to go into what news is moving behind the scenes. I'm going to do that now, as a matter of fact. And there we go. And we're going to change this. So this is what's going on. Russian escalation in Ukraine raises global economic risks. So now I just saw a story that we are putting sanctions against Russia. The UK is putting sanctions against Russia. People are shutting down oil, a whole bunch of stuff. So yes, this is political, but when it starts to affect the market, then that's when I get involved here. When it starts to affect the market, then that's when I get involved. And it's global economic risks. That's not a good thing. So then oil is still going to, I still think is petroleum or energy. The whole sector is a good place to have your money right now. Am I telling you to chase it though? No, but I'm telling you that it's probably a good place to have your money right now. Another thing, Dow falls 250 points as Wall Street assesses rising tensions between Russia and Ukraine. All right, that was from yesterday. And the interesting that the market, pre-market, was down a lot more than what it was or what it is now. Then it's come back as we get deeper entrenched into what's going on. Russia's sending troops in. As this happens, man, I really didn't think, this is my opinion as well, that Russia was going to do this because NATO was there. Remember, and again, I don't want to go down the political rabbit hole, but I honestly felt that NATO was going to be enough to at least do some diplomatic stuff, but I think that Putin's ego's got a lot to do with it as well, and blah, 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 blah. I wish that we could have a session for like an hour or two where we just talk about stuff, all right? And I'd have some Jack Daniels, and we would just sit down and just talk, and, but we don't do that here, and, I'm just putting that out there. All right. Now, talking about interest rates, JP Morgan now expects 9 straight Fed rate increases until March 2023. This is just one company. This is what one company. Do I own EVGO? I do not own EVGO right now. I do have Lucid. I do have Lucid in that space. I do have Lucid. As far as charging companies, I do like EVGO, because if you looked at the videos that I put out about the charging stations, this is new to the game, but they're hot and heavy. EVGO is a good charging station stock to keep your eyes on. How many of you watched both videos on the EV charging on YouTube? Type of 1. How many of you watched it? If you didn't see them, type of 2 in the room. If you saw the EV charging videos, part 1 and part 2, type of 1 in the room. EVGO, though, is a stock that I do like, Christian. It is a stock that I do like. And I gave you 11 stocks to take a look at. If you haven't watched it yet, please go to our YouTube channel and check them out. Those are really good stocks, especially knowing that money is pouring into the States for infrastructure for EV charging. All right, so I really invite you to go watch that. You copied the watch list. Way to go, Roger. I like that. All right, so what else is going on? From the market perspective, these are 3 stories that I've got out there for you. I don't go deeper into these stories. I really just pay attention to the headlines to give a backdrop as to what's going on in the market. I'm going to go back into the software, and let's go take a look at those indicators, all right? Go to the graphs. Let's go to my viewers tab first, and let's scroll up. Here's the major indices with 2 of them. And I always want to pay attention to what's going on with the IWM or the risk-on stocks. But look at the VIX. How many of you are playing UVIXI? That's a stock that I have to hedge my portfolio. Up 7% today. The VIX is up because volatility in the S&P 500 is up. UVIXI, and I'm going to put that in here, UVIXI is a great stock to utilize for hedging your portfolio. All right, it's only up 1.4%, but the VIX on the S&P 500, or volatility in the S&P 500, is up 7% today, above the value of 20. There's volatility in the market. Why? Because there's uncertainty in the market. And I posted on Twitter, I said, be prepared for news-driven swings in the market. Because one day it's going to be like, hey, Russia's going in. Then tomorrow it may be, well, Russia's ready to sit down at the table and talk about some diplomatic ways to overcome this. Then the market's going to blast off and go. So this will be a news-driven market for a little bit, because between what's going on with Russia, what's going on with inflation, what's going on with interest rates, there's going to be a lot of news-driven stuff going on. And the statement about this is the midterms is also going to play a role in this. So there's a lot of things that will be going on this year that could affect your market on a day-over-day basis. So you got to be like a cat on a hot tin roof. You got to be able to move and ready to move at any given time. All right. Chas Deck says Tesla killing everyone. Tesla's a good stock overall. Tesla is still a big boy in the EV space. Tesla is still everybody's going after Tesla. All right. So now let's go look at all of the major indices intraday today. Remember, this is midday market. And let's go look. Here's the Dow. All right, here's the Dow. The Dow jumped down. Now, everything this morning, see the big gap down? Everything gapped down this morning with the news of Russia. The Qs gapped down this morning. The Spiders gapped down this morning. The VectorVest composite gapped down this morning. All of the major indices all gapped down this morning. They all tried to do a little bit of a rebound. Look at that. The Dow fell, found a level of support, went up. Right now, it's leveling out in a little bit of a channel, but look at the 3 and the 8 on the Dow just crossed down with challenging the day's low on the Dow today, the session lows. We're challenging the session lows on the S&P 500. We're challenging and created a new session low on the VVC, and we're challenging the session lows on the Qs. The market still, with today's news, what's going on overseas in Russia is affecting the market adversely. When we look at all of that, we look at the volatility in the market is going up. So I saw somebody post way early in the chat saying that the market crash is coming. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to add a new, and I'm going to look at our market timing graph. And it may be time for me to do another video on this. Here's the 3-month graph. Am I ready to say that the market crashes here yet? No, not yet, because I've got downside to a 3-month low on the VectorVest composite sitting at the value of 59.66, and right now we're at 60.93. Let's go put on a 6-month graph. Look at that. I still got some downside, and if I'm going to think about the market crashing, who was the first one that said that? Joey, can go look in the chat. Who was the first young lady that said that the market crash was coming? Look at that. We've got room, folks. We've got room, and before the market is ready to be in that scenario yet. So I'm not ready to call that yet or say that yet. If we break below this 6-month low, what is this? It's a 1 year. That's a good 1 year low on the market on the VVC. Once we start to break below that, then I will be looking to say that the market is ready for more of a crash. So right now I got time, and I don't remember. Did you find me the name, Joey, of the person that said it in the beginning?
Yeah, I put it in chat. Susan
you put it in chat. Who was it? Susan, you still here? Susan said a market crash is coming. We'll see. But Susan, hopefully you see that we do have some more downside before I'm ready to say that. Now, as the market is moving down for the last 3 days, I like that. Buy some SPY puts for insurance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what has the market done? Back and forth, gone down, gone up, gone down, gone up. And right now we're just in another session of going down. But if we can take out this 1 year low, that's probably going to be a thing that I would keep my eyes on. And let's do that on the S&P 500. I am going to spend a little time on the market today. I think that it's important. Let's go put this on a 1 year. If you don't have the VectorVest software, look at that. Look at that. Even on the S&P 500, I've got a nice solid level of support sitting at 428.34. That's not a 1 year low, but that's a good solid level of support. If we break through that, then I would say that the S&P is in that scenario of where it's starting to go down. Chazdeck says, Glenn, check out the death cross on the daily and weekly in the past crashes versus today. Looks close to fall. That's the death cross is looking at the 50 and the 200-day moving average on whatever indicator you're looking at, whether it's on the S&P 500, the Dow, the market timing graph, whatever it is. The death cross is big and real. All right, just like the golden cross when the 50 crosses above the 200, the 50 and the 200 are mainstays within the market to really define when the market's really in a downturn or a downtrend or however you want to look at it, or in a crash. I'm not ready to call it yet, but we are at a level where the market just needed some information to push further down. And right now, Ukraine is a catalyst, interest rates are a catalyst, and inflation is a catalyst. We've got 3 catalysts working to push the market further lower. Now it all depends on what investors are going to do. Does that make sense to you guys out there? If it does, type a 1 in the room. Does that make sense to you guys out there? And if I sound like I am a blithering idiot, type a 2 in the room. I want to see if anybody thinks that I sound like I'm a blithering idiot. Joey, don't even think about it. Don't even think about typing 2 in the room. But Lou said I'm a blithering idiot. Do you really mean that, Lou? I know you, Lou. Not personally, but I've seen you in here. I don't think that Lou, I'm going to put you in timeout. I think I am. You're the only one, Lou. How does it feel to be in the minority, Lou? How about that? All right. Gavin says 3. That wasn't a choice. How about that? That wasn't a choice. All right. So it's interesting when we do these midday markets to see what's really going on so that you guys have the information to use. Instead of having your head on a swivel like this, wondering what to do, stay focused. Stay focused on your portfolios. Stay focused on your stocks. Don't let Michael, that wasn't a choice either. Don't let anybody talk you out of your trading plan. Plan your trades, trade your plan, stay true to your plan, and folks, you're going to be successful in the market. All right. Let's go to my next tab. Big news. What stocks are moving by way of news today? And I've got a few. Google, McDonald's, Moderna, Ford. Somebody wanted to talk about Ford. We're going to talk about Ford. Palantir, a stock that I really like. I just needed to catch up with itself. I think that Palantir really needs to catch up with itself. Volta's on this list and Rivian. Notice I do not have Tesla, but we do have Volta and Rivian in the electric or EV space. One's a charger and one's a vehicle. All right, let's go take a look at the stories and why they made my stories. Let's start with Rivian. All right, Rivian made a major change. I went through and it said, Rivian makes a bold move to solve its biggest problem. I said, that catches my attention. What's the biggest change? And you know, just like any other thing you click on, you got to read, and blah, 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 blah. And here it is. Rivian just made a major change by making an unexpected appointment to a top manufacturing position, just as the company is ramping up its production at its Normal, Illinois base and getting ready to start the construction of its second car manufacturing site in Georgia. So it's two things there. They're getting a change in upper management, and they're getting ready to ramp up to build more cars. All right? Tim Fallon, a former Nissan executive, will now serve as vice president of manufacturing operations. He replaces another Nissan executive. What is it about Nissan? They like Nissan, and they're going after Nissan people. So it is what it is, blah, 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 blah. Fallon joined the Rivian team effective Monday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Oh, they fell in love with him. Oh. All right, blah, 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 blah. All right, next one. Now, this one I didn't put in my list, but this is interesting. Toyota and Yamaha are developing a hydrogen-fueled V8 engine. So everybody was talking about, well, you know, electric vehicles, but what about hydrogen? And a lot of people are scared of hydrogen and making it safe because what did hydrogen make? Oh, it made a bomb. So, you know, people are still afraid of the technology, but I think that they're making strides in being able to control it. But I figured that this was a big enough story that I wanted to talk about. Toyota and Yamaha are developing a hydrogen-fueled V8 engine. All right? So this is just, I wanted to show you that. McDonald's stock positioned to outperform in 2022. You know, how many of you like McDonald's? I like McDonald's. I'm doing the McDonald's hack. I'm buying like 2 Egg McMuffins and then 2 hash browns and make an Egg McMuffin hash brown. Ooh, that's some good eats. Now, that ain't good for my cholesterol. That ain't good for my blood pressure. It probably ain't good for my diabetes. But let me tell you this. That's some good eats right there. Throw some hot sauce on that. Ooh, I guarantee that's some good eats right there, baby. Ooh. All right, anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about McDonald's. Next one, I like this story too. Moderna announces 3 new mRNA vaccine candidates, and one could cancel cancer. Now, I could go down the rabbit hole of, well, maybe we don't want to cancel cancer because it's blah, blah, blah. It makes a lot of money for people, da, 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 da. But that whole mRNA thing, dealing with COVID and dealing with going after different diseases, I like. So I put that out there. It's looking more and more like mRNA vaccines are the future of preemptive treatments. Is this a place to start to think about putting your money, stocks that are using mRNA in technology? Again, something to consider. It's something to consider. Hydrogen-fueled V8, what can possibly go wrong? A lot. A lot. But it's an interesting story, John. All right, it's an interesting story, just why I have it. That's just why I have it. That's why What could go wrong with hydrogen? Oh, not much. All right, another one. Now, how many of you have seen the story where Ford is trying to, and I put this on Twitter, how many of you seen the story where Ford is trying to spin off their EV space? And I put on Twitter, was EV a hindrance, or was it strong enough for Ford to run on its own? Ford denies EV spinoff, reportedly plans brand reorganization. The plot thickens. Dun, dun, dun. Wait, hold on. Put on my hat. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Where's my pipe too? Oh, Watson, this could be good information. All right, so that was my Professor Profit, which I had to just dig up real quick. I love my hat. I think I'm going to wear my hat for the rest of the presentation. This is my Sherlock Holmes hat. Are we just testing the lows or are we bearish? Now, Rep. Jefferson's right now, I think that we have a level of support that we're testing. That's what I think. We have a level of support that we're testing. And remember, I gave you a line in the sand, whether it was on the S&P or on the VectorVest composite, of where I was looking for before I said that the market was really bearish. Does that make sense, Rep? Does that make sense? That's what I'm thinking. All right. Hey, Joey, I can't see. How many likes do we have? You guys enjoying this so far today? You guys enjoying this? Only 49 likes? It is what it is. All right. All I can say is if you like what you see here, hit the like button. If you're brand new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, folks, hit the subscribe button. We strive every day, and for next month, we're going to do this twice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays. This is midday market. We get to see what's going on real life today and give some real insight on it. Now, here's the stock that I do like. You've seen me do videos on it. Palantir. CDC partners Palantir in fight against COVID. Man, I'm telling you, Palantir is getting the contracts, but they just can't move fast enough to get out of their own way. Palantir, in case you didn't know, is a company that takes data, no matter what space you're in, takes data that is germane to your enterprise, takes all of that data through their platforms, is able to present to you the useful information to make you a better company. That's what Palantir does. They've got contracts around the world to close, of course, us. They are working with our intelligence agencies, the CIA, the FBI, and all of that stuff for the purposes of finding credible potential bad stuff that can happen to us. So I'm telling you, folks, Palantir is a stock that's been heavy on my radar. I like that they're picking up another contract. The CDC partners with Palantir in the fight against COVID. Now, Volta. Volta Truck raises $260 million to accelerate electric truck production. I'm telling you, folks, that's why I did the videos on charging, because all of these electric trucks that are coming out and companies that are making commitments to the electric vehicles, they need to be charged. I'm telling you, don't sleep on the charging companies. Don't sleep on the charging companies. I'd like to see Glenn cover the Jockey Club live one day. I do. When it's my time, I do the Jockey Club live. I won't do it here. I won't do it here on YouTube. Not the place to do it. In order to see the Jockey Club live, you got to be a Derby subscriber in the VectorVest software. All right, and the last one before I move on is Alphabet. Alphabet stock, stunning growth, attractively priced. All right, so these are stocks that are making the news that I want to take a look at. Let's go into the VectorVest software. Here we are. And what I always like to do is see the ones that are moving up the most today. So these are all news driven. The only one that's moving up today is McDonald's. The others are not. Volta is actually on the downside today by a lot. So is Rivian. I saw the comments come in that EVs were hurting us today. And it looks like they are. And as much as I love Palantir, folks, it's a tough stock to be in. The stock has got so much upside potential, not by way of the analysis, though. The stock is still considered to be a speculative play. So is Rivian, and so is Volta. But when I start to look at Ford, Ford's got good upside potential. Moderna's good upside potential. Google, good upside potential. And that's our indicator relative value, the stock's ability to outperform a AAA corporate bond. I don't think that the same Volta stock is the charging. Am I wrong? Let's go look at the stock analysis. Am I wrong? Am I in the wrong one? Star Media enabled charge. There it is. This is charging stations for electric vehicles. All right, Energy, I got you as the charging company. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at, my friend. The company was founded by Scott, blah, 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 blah. So I wanted to make sure if I'm still wrong somehow or another, you got to let me know. That's what I thought. It was the charging. And then Rivian, of course, is the EV. The only two stocks that are in here that are safe are McDonald's and Google by way of relative safety. Which stocks are moving up? Just McDonald's. Just McDonald's. Let's take a look at the top four. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go put them. View the stock graph. All right, let's go through my four thingy. put this on the quad thingy. Let's go look at them intraday. So we looked, all of these stocks made news, right? Let's go look at them all today on 5-minute bars. McDonald's looks good, right? Look at that. 5-minute bars, McDonald's looks good. Did it gap down this morning? A lot of stocks gapped down this morning because of the Russia news, right? So if I'm looking at intraday 5-minute bars, Google jumped up, jumped down, jumped up, the beat down, jump. Insane clown posse. Yeah, isn't that right? Or was that jump? Wait, what was jump around? Joey. House of Pain. Yeah, same thing. It's the same thing. Pain, insane in the membrane. Insane. Got no pain. All right.
I think that's Cypress Hill.
That's Cypress Hill. I just went through three different groups. Wow. All right. So McDonald's looks good. I like the news on McDonald's. McDonald's looks good. Intraday right now looks like it's leveling out. Google fell, rebounded nicely, fell. Remember, 80% of the stocks in the market move with the direction of the market. McDonald's is moving up against that as well. Tater says too. Tater, I didn't give you any numbers. What did I give you numbers for? Sigh, voice emoji. Moderna gapped down, but look at that nice move. Was that a good move intraday to get out? Was right there at the 3 and the 8. Look at that. From an intraday perspective, I don't mind getting in on the 3 and the 8 crossing, but I'd get out on the 3-8 crossing. Badger football, third quarter, jump around. Jump up and get down, beat down. All right. And Ford, though, which was one of the better stocks in the list, gapped down and pretty much stayed down. Never faded the gap. All of my other gap down stocks did fade the gap today. All right, so if I'm looking from a day trade or an intraday perspective, I like McDonald's. I still like the news on Moderna, on Ford, and I like the internal branding on Ford. I'm really interested to see how that plays out. And the story came in about Google is that it looks good. Let's scroll down a little bit. Relative value, good, solid stock. Google is a fundamentally sound stock. What's hurting it right now? It's not going up in price. It's got good earnings and good earnings growth. So I still do like Google, but it's pulling down today. Long term, I probably do like Google. 3-month graph. So, you know something? As much as you may like it in your heart, the graphs don't lie, just like Shakira's hips. I say that every time I get something about lying. Just like Shakira's hips. The 3-8 cross, and look what the stock has done. Let's go put this on a 3-month graph. McDonald's, I'm liking the resurgence here. Look at the 3-8. They haven't crossed yet. Let's go look at Moderna on a 3-month graph. Whew, I tell you, it's a tough stock. I do like that they have mRNA technology going against cancer. And on Ford, 3-month graph, as much as I like Ford too, this is why we look at the graphs. So the news is the news, but the graphs are the graphs. And what you got, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just relax and let it go. All right? And put crickets on that too. I'm citing a lot of songs today. All right, so those are out of my news stories. Let's go put this back on to one. Out of my news story, the only one that I like moving up today happened to have been intraday 5-minute bars McDonald's. That was the only one that I did like. Intraday 5-minute bars current day. There we go. McDonald's is the one that I did like. All right, let's go on earnings this week. Man, there's a lot of earnings coming out this week. And normally what I try to do is I try to put in the most popular stocks that you people know about. You people. What do you mean you people? You guys out there. What movie was that from, Joey? With Iron Man. You know, Tropic Thunder. That was Tropic Thunder. Man, how do you not know that, Joey?
Oh, my bad.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm looking at 33. There's a lot of stocks reporting this week. I'm looking at a lot of the stocks that you do know. Home Depot came out today. Macy's came out today. Both beat earnings nicely. All right, so what I really like what I really like about looking at the stocks from an earnings perspective is to sort the list by relative safety. And the stocks that have the highest relative safety are going to be the stocks that are going to have the highest probability of beating earnings. Home Depot, the best relative safety stock, beat earnings today. Lowe's comes out tomorrow. Macy's has a relative safety just below 1, but still beat earnings. So higher probability of the stocks will beat earnings if the relative safeties are above 1, and the higher above 1, the higher the probability the stock will beat earnings. So looking at some of these stocks that are coming out, sorted by relative safety, some of these stocks to keep your eyes on. All right. Fastest sectors. Let's go see what sectors have been moving the most over the last 2 weeks. And this is going to lead me into another story at the end. All right. I'm going to go to the unit search tool, and I'm going to go into the Delta Searches sectors. All right. What sector do you think is on the rise the most right now? Type it in the room. I want to see where your heads are at. And I want to see if you guys are on the same sheet of music that I'm on. What sector do you think is moving up the most right now that you've got to keep your eyes on? Type it in the room. I want to see what you guys got to say. Type it. I'm not going to move until somebody types something. How about that? I'm holding you all ransom. Oil, okay, I like that. What else? I know you guys got ideas. There's something that I'm looking for. E10 petroleum, you guys saying the same thing. There's something else that I'm looking for. Banking is another one. There's one that I'm looking for in particular. Oil, still not. One that I'm looking for. Nobody's typing it. Really? This is why I want to. There you go, Eton in Israel. I got Fireblazer saying the same thing. Gold, mining. All right, so I'm going to say mining more so than just gold. Mining instead of just gold. Is there a way to find in VectorVest to find stocks with earnings this week? Yes and no. As long as they're going to, if they've already given the date that they're going to report, the answer to that is yes. Steel is on the rise. Don't get me wrong. Steel is on the rise, but I'm going to show you what I mean about mining and gold. So the question is, let's go to the viewers tab. The question is there a way to find earnings? And we can go to the events viewer down here. See that? In the viewers tab, we go down to the events viewer and we can see what earnings are coming up. And watch this. I'm going to take off the dividend X dates. I'm going to take off the dividend pay dates. And I just want to look at the earnings dates. What stocks have earnings today? Ta-da! There you go. And I can go day by day. Does that make sense for you, RSX Center? Look at that. Home Depot reported today, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There's Home Depot. Lowe's reports tomorrow. So if you want to see what stocks have earnings today, you can do that. There's a lot of stocks in there. There's a lot of stocks in there. All right. So let's go back to my search, and I want you to see the power of the VectorVest system right here. I'm looking at a 10-day RT delta. I'm looking for the sectors that have gone up the most by RT over the last 10 days or last 2 trading weeks. 2 trading weeks. I'm going to run it as of right now, 12:42. I want you to see something. I want you to get prepared to get your socks knocked off. Make sure your feet are clean and don't stink, because I'm going to knock your socks off. What's the second fastest moving sector? Mining. Mining means mining, or all of that, not just gold. All right? The number 2 fastest moving sector by RT, up 13.5%, is mining. So I want to take it a step further. Watch this. You still got your socks on? You still got your socks on? Right click, view this is on sectors, view the industries in the business sector. And this is why I say gold is on the rise. Look at that. Number 1, the fastest moving industry in the second fastest moving sector. How cool is that I'm able to pinpoint what's moving? If that was good for you to see, type a 1. If you don't care, type a 2. But that's the power of the VectorVest system in your hands. We just watched that right now, intraday, today, to hone in on what's moving right now, folks. Now, I can take this a step further. I can stay right here and take this a step further. I can right-click and view the stocks in the industry group. There's a lot of stocks. 183. And folks, I can't make this up. This was done on the fly to really hone in on why gold is something to take a look at right now. It's not that I'm some kind of news article on something that said, hey, we got to go look at gold now. There is actual factual information right here with 41 sectors that we track, 200 and some odd industries that we track to hone in live right now on what's moving. Whoo-wee. All right, so now I'm going to come back to this. Auto truck, which is the EVs, is up. Let's run this again. Man, I love being able to use this kind of information, not data. Auto truck, 11%. So I've got 3 sectors that are up double digits in the last 2 weeks. That's freaking awesome right off the bat. And maybe you just concentrate on those, but mining is up there, and then we went to really hone in that gold, silver was moving. All right, so from that perspective, we're going to come back to that. I wanted to show you how cool that was on the fly. Let's go to the watch list viewer. Let's go to industry ETFs. Now, why do I have this? Industry ETFs is all about watching where the money is going today. Where's the money going? Oil. So all of those that typed in oil, from an intraday perspective today, that's where money is going. And no matter, I've got all of these different, I try to cover the broad spectrum of everything. Energy, gas, consumer staples, financials, utilities, real estate, healthcare. I tried to, so that at any given time, I can see where the money is going today. It looks like it's going into oil and gas and into utilities a little bit. How cool is that? All right. And I can always hone in on what stocks are moving within these. All right. But it's always important that no matter what I'm doing throughout the day is to really keep my eyes on where the money is going today, so that those are trades that I could take advantage of. On the fly, I'm not making anything on the fly today. Speculative plays. Aha. I always like to give you plays to keep your eyes on. Most times they're going to be lower dollar stocks for the most part. I want to give you, for those people who may not have a lot of money in the market, I always like to give you some semblance of some. Now, these are more aggressive plays. These are more aggressive speculative plays, all right? If you look at, for the most part, many of these stocks don't have good upside potential, but a few of them, out of the 6, 4 of these stocks have good upside potential. Out of the 6, 1 has a safety factor above 1, and 4 out of them are moving up right now. All right. Now, out of these stocks, there's a couple of stocks that I have stories on. One of them is a pharmaceutical, Vector Therapeutics, VIRX, a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company working on new treatments for cancer. I think that any drug company working on cancer is a company worth looking at, all right? The EBV is part of the herpes family and is estimated that some 90% of global population carries it. Good gravy. EBV is the cause of infectious mono. I ain't never had mono. I hope I never get mono. They call it the kissing disease. I didn't kiss a lot when I was a kid. I didn't, it wasn't until later. Yeah, then I learned how to kiss real good. But I never got mono. And there's also linked to several cancers. All right, so that's one stock that I want you to keep your eyes on. And AstraZeneca, talking about cancer, AstraZeneca delivers positive data for Destiny Breast 04 trial. All right, so I think that any pharmaceutical company that's aggressively going after cancer is definitely a company to keep your eyes on, but sometimes it's just news. Sometimes it's just news. All right, so those are two out of the stocks that are in the list. There's Virex and there's AstraZeneca. The other ones I looked at from the perspective of I went through a lot of graphs to show you some stocks that could be getting ready, setting up, all right? Let's go take a look at them, put them on a 3-month graph. Let's take a look. Glenn, would you put on Rick James when he first started kissing? No! What am I going to put on Rick James for? He's a very kiki girl. The kind you don't take home to mama. Yeah, I put crickets on that. All right. GTE, petroleum stock, hot industry. I like the movement. Bottom left, top right. RT is moving. I am looking at volume starting to fall a little bit. I'm looking at volume starting to fall a little bit, but that makes sense. The stock is starting to level out. The 3 and the 8 are solid. I'd like to see if the stock could break above that level of the high of $1.38 if you're going to get into it. All right. Petroleum is a hot industry, and I don't think you're chasing it. I think it's only going to get hotter with the tensions that are going on, with the lack of oil that we have on our end. Oil is pushing $100 a barrel. That's good for petroleum stocks to go up. So I still think it's a good place to be. YPF, another petroleum stock. What I don't like, and now that I put this in here, stock broke through a level of resistance when I saw it, and it's pulled back. It's pulled back, and I see selling pressure, a little bit of a shooting star pattern, but the 3 and the 8 still look good, and stock's price is still above this level of resistance as of right now. Volume is pretty steady. RT is rising. I do like that. It's a low dollar stock. All I really want you to do is keep your eyes on it. Another one, BBR, bank. Banks are going to be the beneficiary of rising interest rates. $3.52. Nicely moved up higher today. This wasn't an earnings play, was it? No, it was not. But I don't like the big wick at the top. Be careful with that. That shows me a sign of selling pressure and a doji, little bit of indecision. Be careful with that. Little bit of shooting star pattern as well. Could be a reversal. AstraZeneca. I like the news. The stock gapped up, but it's a closed candle, which means that the price now is lower than the open. It's still higher than the previous day's close, so it's bullish, but it's closed because the price fell from the open. I like the news. Right now, it's just news. It wasn't enough to really keep it blowing up, but last earnings looks like they did a decent job. The stock's price pulled back with the 3 and the 8, but still moved higher. I still like the news. I still like the stock. The stock's got a relative safety above 1. It's got good upside potential. Earnings growth rate is still there. I like the stock long term. And then Virex. Now, this is just news driven. The stock has been in a downtrend for quite some time. This is news driven. So now I like it only because let's see if the news can move it. Right now, it's not. Right now, the 3 just closing below the 8. So I wouldn't take it, but the news is good. I wouldn't take it just quite yet. And the last stock is EPZM. I liked that the 3 and 8 are very close to crossing. I do like the rising RT, even though the stock is moving sideways. The stock is picking up some momentum. It's sitting at $1.58. I'd like to see it break above this high of $1.81. The stock's got some good upside for a minute. All right, so I like the setup. This is more of a technical play. I like the setup. All right, any questions? When you have a chance, at one point, could you possibly do a premium watch list for semis? For semiconductors, do I have a list? I might have a list. I might have a YouTube list. That's midday market. Let's go to trending Thursday. Do I have a semis list? I got a lot of watch lists in here for you guys. I don't. Let me show you something. Armand, watch this. I'm going to hook you right on up. You want to create your own? And I'm going to do this for everybody who's a VectorVest subscriber. You want to do this on your own? I'm going to look for MU. That's in the semiconductor space, right? So it brings it up, right click. Or actually, let's do it this way. Let's double click. Double click is going to bring up all of the stocks in that industry. You want your own semiconductor? There's 60 stocks right here. Boom. So what I could do is put this on 100, and I can highlight all 60 stocks and make my own semiconductor watch list. So guess what? Since you brought it up, let's do this. Right click, add to watch list. And it's going to be in my trending Thursday. We go this in YouTube, trending Thursday. Let's go create a new list. Oh, how cool is this? This is done on the fly, right? 00 semis. Right? Click on add and take all 60 of those stocks. Boom. And guess what? Go to my watch lists. I've got my own semiconductor watch list. How cool is that, Armand? I did that on the fly for you as well. I did that right on the fly. 00 semis, and all the semiconductor stocks are now in here. How cool is that? All right. If that was worth it to you, Armand, if you haven't hit the like button already, hit it. And that goes for everybody else out there. Folks, this software has got so much flexibility. It's got so much flexibility. I see it, Joey. You got so much flexibility that I can do stuff like that on the fly for you. All right, let's go down. Let me go finish out my list. Watch list viewer. Go. That's not what I wanted. Watch list viewer. Speculative plays. Today's big movers. So there's a search I look for is not ballistic new highs, but price volume boomers. Or, big stocks that move. Look at this. So in this, a lot of these are news driven. All right. A lot of these are already news driven. So we made some money. Patrick made some money on this stock in the Jockey Club today, right? He made like 26% today. And this is a search that he uses today. So live trading, we made about 26% on that trade today. Let's go see 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go see if there's any way that you can make any money on these stocks still today. Let's go look at my quad thingy. All right, intraday 5-minute bars. Motor, I'm not feeling that at all. And I'm looking at 5-minute bars. Indo, look at that. Nice move today, pulling back now. AMLX, ooh, I'd like to see it take out that high before I jump on. And HMHC, I'm not feeling that. Neither one of these two. Looks like these might just be buyouts. These might be buyouts. Put this on a 1-month graph. Yeah, those might be buyouts. Let's go look at Indo 1-month graph. Big move. That's probably news driven. And let's go put 1 month. Look at AML. Wow. Now this is a nice big move today, but look at that. I like AMLX as a swing trade. All right, so Indo, when did he buy and sell? Chasdek, he did it today in the Jockey Club. I don't know. Anybody from the Jockey Club, how long was Patrick in that trade today? How long was he in that trade today? Anybody? Because I don't know. MTOR was a buyout. Yeah, I'm thinking that both of these, Dave, were buyouts. They both look the same. I'm thinking that both of these are buyouts. But I like, out of that listing of this big mover stocks, this one appeals to me. AMLX appeals to me. Appreciate your review with IYR. If REITs are impacted negatively with highest interest rates, with many REITs down already, is there any still to consider to short? Oh, that's a good question. If they're already down, interest rates may push them down. They still may have some downside. They still may have some downsides. I don't know. Dave says he held it for 22 minutes. Greg said for 40 minutes. I'm going to say he held it for about 30 minutes. I split the difference. I'm going to say that he held it for about 30 minutes, but he made some money on it, Chastek. Where can I do an EV watch list? I've got one that I've created, but the same way. Go to Industries Auto Truck. You can go to the viewers, go to the industry viewer. EVs are in the auto truck industry, so I'm going to sort that alphabetically. I'm going to sort that alphabetically. Do it again. Auto truck, auto truck, auto truck, auto truck. Which one? I think it's this one. View the stocks in the industry group. I think it's auto truck manufacturing. Let's go see. Yep. Tesla, Tata. Yeah, poor. There's 52 stocks in here. Yeah, if Tesla's in there, you're going to have your Rivians, your Lucids. There's Ford is in there. XPEV is in there, Solo Ride Neo. Yep. So that's it. It's in auto truck manufacturing. You would right click, view the Stuxnet industry group, and you would do the same thing I did for the semis. You would do the same thing I did for the semis. Highlight them and put them into a watch list. All right, Kenneth? All right, that's to answer your question. That's how you would do it. All right, let's go back to my watch list viewer. So, again, the stock that I did like still for today was the AMLX. I did like that. I like that more than just today. I like that more than just today. Now, the relative value and relative safety still tell me it's a speculative play, but the stock is on the run. The stock is on the run. Wall Street bet stocks, I always look at what stocks are talked about the most in Wall Street bets. Sometimes the news, maybe being on Wall Street bets, moves them, sometimes not. AMD is the biggest mover, one of the top 12 stocks talked about today, followed by SPGI, Lockheed Martin. I still love this space, folks, especially what's going on with Russia. These companies are picking up more and more contracts for defense. I'm telling you, keep your eyes on the aerospace and defense stocks. All right. I'm right at 1 o'clock, so I'm not going to be able to watch or look at your stocks today. One last thing. Remember I told you about the gold stocks? All right. I made a special watch list today. I went and cherry-picked some gold stocks for you. Here's 10 of them. Write these down. I want to show you something. Here's the watch list average. On these 10 stocks, take a picture of it, whatever you need to do. I cherry-picked these gold stocks for you. All right. If you right-click and view the watch list average graph, I want to show you something. There it is. This is end of day. This is end of day 4 months. Gold is on the rise, folks. And these 10 stocks, this is what these 10 stocks look like right now. This is what these 10 stocks look like right now. All right. So I'm done. I'm right at 1 o'clock. I am done. I want to remind you that I will be doing midday markets on now Mondays and Wednesdays starting in March. For the month of March, we will be doing midday market on Mondays and Wednesdays. All right, especially because the interest rates are going to be hiked up. I'm telling you, don't be surprised if the Fed goes super hawkish and raises one point. Now, I say that so that you're not surprised over it. They are willing to aggressively, or they're considering aggressively going after inflation because it's bad. It just is bad. So we'll see. I just put that out there. Again, I don't have a magic lamp or I can't look into the future. I can't do any of that. But I am telling you, don't be surprised if they aggressively raise interest rates because inflation is that big of a problem. All right, I'm going to still ask if you already haven't hit the like button already, please do so. We didn't see anybody subscribe to the channel today, did we, Joey? Wow, that's interesting. Well, something that'll happen from time to time. I didn't see anybody subscribe to the channel today, and that's fine. I do want to let you know that I've got more people who are not subscribers to the channel watching these live streams. Folks, just come on in. We welcome you with open arms. Hit that subscribe button. Why not just subscribe to the channel? You're here. All right, just think about that. You're here. All right. What do we got going on, Joey? Thursday, we've got Trending Thursday. Patrick's got the mobile app on Thursday on YouTube at 11. I've got Trending Thursday at 2 on Thursday. All right, so.
Stock panel next Wednesday.
Oh, and I got the hot stock panel next Wednesday. Me, Steve Chappell, and Jim Penna. What is it? Hot stocks for what?
Okay.
Do you know? Hold on. I got it. That's midday market. What is it? March 2nd. Hot stocks in a rising interest rate environment. Ooh.
Hot stocks for rising interest rates.
That's not what it said. All right. Hot stocks for, y'all guys change up stuff so much. Hot stocks for a rising interest rate environment. That's going to be next Wednesday, folks. Me, Steve Chappell, and Jim Penna at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. All right, so next Wednesday is going to be busy because at 12, we're going to have midday market, and then at 2, we got another live stream YouTube is going to be hopping next Wednesday for us, folks. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all of the likes that we did get. Thank you for all of the comments that we have. And sorry I didn't get to look at your stocks today, but I had a lot to cover. And hopefully some things make some sense. Don't get swayed by what everybody's telling you about everything. The Russia thing is affecting economies globally. It's going to. Sanctions are going to happen, and oil is still going to be a hot spot, folks. And I don't foresee that being a dull spot for a minute. Where do I find the monthly rates for VectorVest? Ward, you can easily check. I don't know the prices. All right, and that kind of sucks because I should. But if you look on our website, www.vectorvest.com, you can see pricing for the software. I'm new here, very informative. I'm in on Monday and Wednesday. Excellent. I love that. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you, Joey, for being awesome. All right, because he is awesome. You don't understand all of the stuff he was doing in the background. I can see it, but he's really awesome at what he does. So until the next time, folks, adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. Bom dia, shalom, shalom, salam, namaste, avidajern, and Yasul. See you, folks.